Good day, boys and girls. We meet today as we continue with our virtual lessons. Today we are starting on a new chapter and we are looking at the sectors of the economy. It's a topic that is introduced to you for the second time because you once had it in grade 8. So it's a quick one and it's very straightforward. So we are going to be talking about the sectors of the economy. Now we are saying here, there is a process that goods must go through in production before you can finally find them in a shop. Goods move from raw materials up to finished products. In other words, before you can go to Checkers and buy yourself something like maybe you buy cornflakes or you buy Wet-Bix and stuff, there has been a process that product has gone through, and at some point in time it started being a raw material up until it came to be a final product, that is a finished product. So we are saying here there is a process that they follow, starting from being a raw material up until it gets to be a final product. Sorry. Now, there are three main stages or process that these products take in order for them to reach the customers or the consumers. These stages are classified into three economic sectors we are going to be discussing now. So the first sector is called the primary sector. The primary sector, obviously, being the first stage. This is a sector where raw materials are extracted. To extract, remember, is to take, or so the raw materials are taken from the earth or from land or from their original state. So it includes all industries, which we call primary industries, that harvest and mine basic animal, plant, and mineral resources. Okay? The production journey of any product starts in the primary sector. There is no product that just come from nowhere without having influence or input from the primary sector. So this is the origin. Just like, for example, you guys, you know, when you talk of the primary school, there's no one who got to university, who went to university without first passing through the primary sector. No one is at secondary or high school just like you are now without first going through the primary. So in the same manner, products also, they start in the primary sector. That's what we are saying here. So we are saying the journey of a product always starts or originates in the primary sector. So the role of the primary sector is thus to extract. If we find a question in the exam which says what is the role of the primary sector, its role is to extract or to harvest raw materials from the earth. Okay, then types of businesses in the primary sector includes farming, it includes mining, it includes fishing, forestry, etc. So you can think of any company that you know that is in the farming. That farm is therefore an example of a what? A primary sector company. You can think of ZZ2, this one that is on our way to Louis Trichardt, which produces tomatoes. That's a company that is in the farming area, and therefore it qualifies as a primary sector company. So you can think of many other examples in mining, in fishing, in forestry, etc. The skills that are required mostly in the primary sector are largely what? Unskilled labor. Yes, most people, the majority of people working in the primary sector, they have unskilled labor. They are unskilled labor. In other words, these are people who just use their manual ability. They need their muscles to do the job. They don't necessarily need a degree. For example, you don't need any degree for you to go and pick grapes there in the grape fields there down there in Cape Town. You don't need any degree for you to go and pick tomatoes here at ZZ. You don't need any degree to go and have some fruits picked from the trees there in Venda there. You just need your manual skills, your ability to work, your muscles. So we are saying here, most of these people, they are unskilled. They don't have any skill that they have. Semi-skilled, however, is also found in the supervisory roles. So in other words, we are saying now, for example, think of a farm that's producing tomatoes. There is a point where they need to spray those tomatoes. Now, the mixing of those sprays that they use to protect their tomatoes from being infected by aphids and stuff, those things need to be monitored by a qualified personnel. Otherwise, they'll end up mixing those things wrongly, or even using them wrongly, and they gets affected negatively. So there are some semi-skilled. Then physical labor is mainly the one in use in this sector, as needed in mining, fishing, and stuff, as we've already mentioned. The use of machines, however, calls for increase in some skills, as machines are replacing certain manual jobs. Yes, you would all know that back then, whenever they wanted to do plowing, they would have to take oxen and plows and start plowing the field. But these days, because of modernization, mechanization is taking in, and we now use tractors, we now use combine harvesters to do the job. So because of that, it now calls for what? For some kind of training, so that they can be able to find someone who can drive a tractor, someone who can operate a combine harvester. Yes. Then the secondary sector now is a sector where those raw materials that we have obtained from the primary sector are now processed and used to make other products or goods, e.g. wheat. For example, we use wheat that is taken from where? The primary sector. We crush it now into flour. We take maize from the primary sector, we convert it into mealie meal. We take wood from the primary sector, and we convert it into table. So the process of conversion is done in the what? In the secondary sector. So it is a stage where manufacturing and processing takes place. Businesses in the secondary sector, they use machines to change raw materials from the primary sector into, number one, semi-finished goods. Now, these are items that still need to be used in the production of other products and become one final product, e.g. component parts like nuts and bolts, screws and stuff. So we are saying all these things, they are not yet in their final state. They still need to be joined to another product in order for them to eventually become a final product. Or they can also convert or manufacture products into finished products now. So when you think of a company that produces shoes, a shoe is not a semi-finished, it's already finished product. You can take it and use it right as it is. A car, a table, your phone, your clothes, all these, they are examples of what? Your finished product. So we're saying this is done in the secondary sector. There are many secondary sector companies which use raw materials from the primary sector to make new items. This includes factories, so any factory that you can think of, refineries, any refiner that you can think of, bakeries, construction companies, all these, they fall under the what? The secondary sector. So you should be able to quickly think of an example of a factory that you know. Which factory do you think? Can you quickly think of right now? A factory. Remember, this is where they do the production of certain things like a clothing factory. Think of a company that is in the clothing factory, carpentry and stuff. Think of refineries. Which refineries can you quickly think of? Think of the national breweries. Bakeries. Which bakery can you quickly think of right now? I'm sure this morning before you start your work, you had some breakfast where there was a slice of bread. Which bakery has produced that? That bakery falls under a secondary sector. Construction company. Right now, as you are listening to me, you are in a house which was constructed by a certain company or a certain somebody. So all those guys, they fall under the secondary sector. All manufacturing, all processing and construction falls under the what? The secondary sector. A large portion of the country's workforce is tied up in the secondary sector. Yes, we are saying most people, you can think of many people that are working, they fall under the secondary sector. They are found there. And the skills that are mainly dominant in this sector are semi-skilled. Yes. Obviously, for example, let's talk of a factory. You can't have people working in a factory, let's say even a clothing factory, for them to be able to run or to sew a complete nice piece of suit they need to be somehow qualified, so they are semi-skilled. For someone to be able to bake some cakes for you, they need to be somehow qualified. For someone to be able to construct a beautiful house, a story building, they need some kind of what? Skills. Semi-skilled labor is the one that is dominant in the what? In the secondary sector. Skilled jobs are available in supervisory and in managerial, of course, in order for them to then plan the construction of a building and staff drawing, all those kind of things that are on the house plan. They need qualified people. That's where you find your skilled people. But otherwise, semi-skilled is the one that is dominant. Then lastly, we have got the tertiary sector. This is a sector now where services are provided to aid or to help, to assist in the other two sectors. So this is basically concerned about what? Services. This includes all businesses that transfer the goods produced by the primary and secondary industries to consumers through their shops, their offices, and the informal trading. The service industry includes, for example, cinemas, it includes banks, it includes restaurants, it includes legal offices. There are many examples that you can think of which falls under the tertiary sector, as long as they provide these services that aid or that assist in the movement of goods or the transportation of goods or the availability of goods to the consumers. That's tertiary sector. So the tertiary sector thus includes the following businesses: transporters. You can think of a transporting company that you know. Wholesalers, they also fall under tertiary. Retailers, yes, they fall under tertiary. And service providers like the hair salons and all those kind of examples that you can quickly think of that falls under service providers, they are tertiary businesses, right? The tertiary sector jobs covers all the skills. In other words, you are saying in this sector, since it's a broad spectrum, it covers a lot of different areas or fields. Thus, it also covers a lot of all the skills. Remember, we've got our three skills: unskilled, semi-skilled, and skilled. So in this case, we have the unskilled labor, and this one is mostly found in the cleaning and caring positions, as well as successful entrepreneurs. So, for example, cleaners, cleaners. Even in your school, you find some people who are doing cleaning for your classrooms. Those people, they are employed by a certain company, but they don't need certain skills. They are just what? Unskilled labor. Anyone can go there and start working, just being told how to do the cleaning. So they are unskilled. Then also, semi-skilled. This is semi-skilled and highly skilled jobs are found in most specialized retail and service-oriented enterprise. E.g., you can talk of till operators, you can talk of tailors, you can talk of drivers. These guys are semi-skilled. And then highly qualified professionals now are in the medical fields, law firms, architectural jobs, engineering, and quantity surveying firms. All these guys now, they are into services and they are highly qualified. So, what is the role of the tertiary sector? The role of the tertiary sector is therefore basically to provide services which are needed by both the businesses and individuals that are found in primary as well as in the secondary. Yes. Now, I want you to look at your textbook on page 90. On page 90, you are going to do your homework there, which you are going to do in your EMS exercise book. Remember, this activity 1 has got number 1 and number 2. So I only want you to do number 1, which is the one where you are supposed to be classifying the businesses according to whether they are primary, they are secondary, or tertiary industry. So these are the businesses that are given there in your textbook. It's all there on page 90. So I want you to identify what gold mining, is it primary, supermarket, is it primary, dairy farm, funeral parlor, ice cream maker, doctor, bakery, airport, all these guys, you will classify them into what? Into the 3 sectors of the economy. And I want you to use this table. So you are going to draw a table. Then from these, you choose the ones that are primary, write them under the primary, the ones that are secondary, under secondary, and the one that are under tertiary, under tertiary. That is basically what I want you to do as your homework. This work is in your textbook, but I've just put it here for those who might not have their textbooks readily available. So you draw this table here, and then you label primary, secondary, and tertiary. Then you look at these guys, take each one of them. There's no business that must qualify under both. In this case, I want you to think critically and put them in their specific sectors. And that's it for today. That's an introduction to the three sectors of the economy. Basically, we've covered everything. I've combined everything that we needed for this chapter. We'll just, however, add a few stuff there in our next lesson, just for you to familiarize yourself with this one. Have a good day.